Man, sales is tough. I'm just not cut out to be a salesperson. Have you ever felt that way? Selling doesn't need to be so difficult. My name is Harry Spate. I'm here to serve and to help you succeed. Join me as we discuss sales made easy.
That if we want to build a tribe, we have to engage with even the people that are just doing a thumbs up. And you can reach out to them. Thanks so much for engaging on my post. I'd love to connect with you, learn a little bit more about the content you're interested in, and see if I can continue to provide value to you.
Nice.
Or, can I ask you, what about the post resonated? As I'm trying to identify what content really is meaningful to my network, right? Or, hey, thanks for engaging. If this is a topic that's interesting to you, I've got an ebook that we've created. Let me know if that's something you'd like. I'd be happy to send that over to you, right? Engage. So the philosophy really is about treating the person on the other side of the message the same way you would if they were on the other side of the table.
Another episode of the Sales Made Easy podcast. You're in for a special treat because today we have a LinkedIn superstar, Brynne Tillman, who is going to talk to us about social media and especially LinkedIn. So Brynne, who has been on LinkedIn, she's got about a gazillion followers, but she and I spoke earlier and she says, you know what, there's still a lot of people out there that just don't get LinkedIn, and she meets those every day. So if you're in that category, we want to help you. So Brynne, welcome to the Sales Made Easy podcast. What's the good word?
Oh, Harry, the good word is social selling.
I love it.
I guess that's two words.
Yeah, it's a good, yes, but it means one thing. So Brynne, what are you finding these days on social selling that most people don't know about? What do you think?
Well, I think there are a few things that are broken. Let's start with that. So
Okay.
Whether they know or they don't know what they might be doing wrong.
Beautiful.
So the biggest thing is connect and pitch. Big problem. We've all been victims of this. But people in sales think, okay, I'm going to do some LinkedIn and social selling, so I should sell.
Right.
So I'm going to go out and I'm going to connect with all the right people that I want to buy from me. And then I'm going to tell them how we can help them. And what happens, particularly when it's completely cold, you have no credibility, you haven't earned the right to invade their inbox in that way. You have not brought any value to the table. It hurts your reputation. If you're cold calling on the phone, even a cold email, they delete. On LinkedIn, they see your face, your company, your brand, and you actually hurt your reputation with the connect and pitch. So the flip side, right, is to bring value first and earn the right to get the conversation. So that's the first mistake. The second mistake, and in no particular order, by the way, is connect and forget. So we have hundreds, if not thousands of connections, yet we're going out net new all the time. And we're ignoring the people in our existing network. What do? We have to take inventory. And we can talk more. We can go deeper into any of these. But we've got to take inventory. We've got to say, who are the clients we're connected to, prospects, referral partners, and really take a look at who should I be talking to, re-engaging, or even engaging for the very first time that I'm already connected to before I'm out there just trying to cold call on LinkedIn or a cold call, right? Like we're one step closer to having a rapport and relationship with an existing connection. And if you do it right and you bring value and you make them feel like this is not a templated message going out to 500 people, you're going to get some great responses. The next thing is client referrals. How many of us are out there asking for referrals, but never really getting them because your client goes, I don't know who I can introduce you to, right?
True.
But what we're doing wrong is we're not searching their connections in advance. That's what's broken, is we ask for referrals before we search. And it's literally, we have access to their Rolodex.
Mm-hmm.
And we could go through and find by title, by geography, by company size, who do they know that I want to meet, run 8, 10, 12 names by them, and end up with 2 or 3 really good referrals every single time, right? And so that we're doing that. Then another thing we're doing is potentially we're posting and ghosting, right? We put it out there. We don't share it with anyone. We hope and pray someone likes it. And we're like, oh, we got 300 views and 2 engagements. Right? So, yeah, go ahead.
And the engagement's getting ignored, right? Where you have, it's the person who says something of value and the person who posted ignores it. And I'm like, oh my goodness, opportunity blown, right?
Absolutely. And even more prevalent are maybe you got 7 reactions, likes, curiosity, celebration, right? You've got, and we do nothing with that. If we want to build a tribe, we have to engage with even the people that are just doing a thumbs up. And you can reach out to them. Thanks so much for engaging on my post. I'd love to connect with you, learn a little bit more about the content you're interested in, and see if I can continue to provide value to you.
Nice.
Or, can I ask you, what about the post resonated? As I'm trying to identify what content really is meaningful to my network, right? Or, hey, thanks for engaging. If this is a topic that's interesting to you, I've got an ebook that we created. Let me know if that's something you'd like. I'd be happy to send that over to you. Beautiful. Right? Engage. So the philosophy really is about treating the person on the other side of the message the same way you would if they were on the other side of the table.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Can you go into that a little bit? So, like, if this was all in person, would we ever say, great post, and the person ignored it, right? If you went up and I said, hey, great stuff you're talking about, Brynne, and you just walked away, didn't even acknowledge it, right? Who would do that? But let's just talk about really what is the purpose of LinkedIn for the average entrepreneur? What should it be?
Yeah. So social selling, it was coined by a former LinkedIn employee, Coca Sexton, who really has a marketing background or he does some sales too, but he's really a marketing guy. So, the interesting, and he wrote the foreword to my first book, by the way. But interestingly, the idea of social selling was about engaging with your ideal buyers, right? It's about engaging. Because he wasn't a sales guy, he was a marketing guy. But, so that was initially. We've sort of morphed the definition to social selling is about building rapport, sparking relationships, bringing value, and being a resource, understanding that the sale will come when the time is right. That doesn't mean we're not closing for conversations. It just means we're not closing for business. We're not going out there and say, hey, Harry, we help companies just like you do this, this, and this. Do you have a need for our services? If so, here's a link to my calendar. Let's get on a 15-minute call. You're like, who is this person? Right?
Exactly.
Because you wouldn't do that in person. I wouldn't walk up to you at a trade show and start a conversation that way.
No.
But I might walk up to you and say, hey, Harry, I see you were talking with a couple of people over there. How well do you know Joe? Right? Those are our shared connections. Or, maybe you did a little talk and I walk up to you afterwards and say, I really love that topic you talked on. Here were some of my takeaways. we've got some great content that might complement that. If you're interested, I'd be happy to send some of that your way and get your perspective. Or, as someone at your stature with all of the insights that you have, I'd be honored to do a live stream interview with you if you're open.
Nice.
Right. Or, I'd love your one-click vote on a poll. Would it be okay if I sent that to you? But we should have some rapport building before I tell you how I can sell you. In fact, ultimately, what I want to do is be such a resource for you that you eventually say, you know what, we really should chat. It doesn't mean that we're passive, though. So a lot of people misunderstand what I say and think, okay, so I'm just sitting back and waiting.
Right.
But I'm not. And I'll explain in a couple of ways.
Beautiful.
We need to earn the right. So we need to know that you got so much value from whatever we interacted with that you'd be excited to spend 15 minutes with me. So that when I say, hey, Harry, I've got other insights that I'd love to share with you. If you're open, let me know. I could send over my calendar link. Or if you're open to a 15-minute call, I'm happy to share additional insights that even if we never work together, can really have a positive impact on your business. But I have to have proven that. I've had to earn the right. You have to have experienced and test-driven my value before you're going to believe my value. If I do that too quickly, you feel pitched. If I do that after I've already got you thinking a little differently about your current solution, you're leaning in. You're like, okay, now it is worth 15 minutes. What you've already given me is proven that a conversation with you is a good use of my time.
Nice.
So that's the first thing. The second thing is client referrals or referrals from networking partners. If I look through a networking partner or a client and I pull out 15 names, we have a conversation, they whittle it down to 4 people they think would be great for me, and they either make an introduction or give me permission to name drop, I'm coming in at a higher level of credibility. There's a less of a runway to prove myself because our client already said I'm awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can assume the call, but I still will bring value before the call, send them, great, thank you. Harry, thanks for the introduction. Jane, I'm looking forward to chatting. Not sure if you're exploring these solutions. I've got a great checklist that I'm happy to send over to you, or an ebook. Or if you're interested, let me know. And by the way, what is your preferred way to schedule our call? So they go, oh, yeah, you could send me that. And then she might say, what does Thursday afternoon look like? Or she's like, well, how do you schedule your call? I'm like, oh, well, I have a link if you'd like, right? But it's also very permission-based. I'm not assuming anything. I'm asking. Sometimes I'll say, if I'm in a rush,
Jersey girl comes out.
yeah. Harry, what's your preferred way of scheduling? If it happens to be via calendar link, here's mine. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing. Do not assume that they want to use your calendar link. Especially if they're if we're looking to get a call with them, mm-hmm. we don't want them to have to do the work unless that's the easiest way for them.
Right. So if they're like a potential candidate for your services, if you leave the calendar link in their hands, there's a chance, right, that they just don't follow through, right? Something distracts them and then they forget about it. And then, people who are in your shoes could say, well, I guess they're not interested because I didn't follow through, right? But you can make it easier for them.
So yes, and yeah, a lot of them are insulted that I want to have a call with them, but I'm making them do the work.
Yeah,
there are a lot of people like, really? So what, like you want to, and they know that we're in some kind of business development role, and they're like, they want me. So that's why I like to say, Harry, share with me, what is your preferred way to schedule? If it happens to be calendar link, here's mine. And often I'll get their calendar back.
Right. Yeah.
And that's great. Because I asked them, what's your preferred way? I did not make you use my calendar link.
Yeah.
There are some people that'll come back and say, I've got Thursday afternoon. Do you have any availability there? Because that's the way they schedule. I've had people say, I've copied my assistant in this message. She can help us schedule, right? But I've opened it up so that their way mattered. It's not only my way.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a great tip. Yeah, because I'm thinking that I've had those invites where people have sent me their calendar link, and I'm just not into doing that, right? It's more effort than I want to provide, especially if someone is clearly prospecting, right? And I might give them the time of day, not nearly ready. I have no pain, and then they flip the calendar link, and it's like, no, we're not ready for that. It's a little too straightforward. But maybe I thought that was maybe just me, but it sounds like others are doing the same thing.
Yeah, you have to be careful, and you have to respect the way they want to do business. Like, the old golden rule is do unto others as you'd have done unto you.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
Right. The platinum rule is do unto others the way they want it done to them. Right. Like, we have to make sure that at every point we're asking permission. So, if you ask me, what is your sales philosophy? 2 things: be completely authentic and transparent, and make it permission based. Get agreement for every next step. When they agree to it, they feel in control, even though they're not. So I'm not giving up control, but I'm making them feel more comfortable that I don't have a hidden agenda. I'm not going to bait and switch you. Like, this is about me bringing value to you, and ultimately detaching from what the prospect is worth to me and attaching to what I am worth to them. That's how I earn the right to get the business. And one last thing around this, and I get so excited around this topic. The old sales training way was never give away free consulting.
Oh my goodness, please expound on that one.
So here's the challenge. So that, I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but from the research I've done on this, was Sandler in the 70s, right? And then he died, and no one updated it. So Sandler in the 70s, there was no other way to get information.
Mm-hmm.
It may have really worked in the 70s.
Right. No selling over the phone, right? Don't give anything, because then people will have no reason to see you. These are things that we were taught 100 years ago, right?
Yeah. And
keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, no. I'm sorry. I know. So that is exactly the wrong way to approach this.
Yeah. So you're saying, and I'm passionate about this, so forgive me.
No, go.
All right. So just so I have clarity here, I've been saying give stuff away, provide the value. I'm a huge fan of Gary Vee, and he's constantly talking. Here's a guy that's worth whatever, $500 million, whatever the number is. He gives more content and tricks and secrets away for free than anybody, and I don't see him hurting. Right? He seems to be doing pretty well. And one of the things he said was, look, my paying clients don't apply 50% of what I teach. So why do I care, right? I mean, it's like, you're not going to apply half the stuff I teach anyway. And people who get it for free are certainly not going to apply it. So yeah, I just love what you said. So you're a believer then that you can give value and not worry about people paying for it all the time.
I'm totally detached from who's going to pay for it.
So refreshing.
And that, I had to get there. And I'll tell you, I have a mentor who I'm a part of his mastermind. I think is the kindest salesperson to walk the earth, incredibly successful, has written lots of books that have transformed the way I think and I approach. It's Bob Burg, who wrote The Go-Giver.
Yep.
He also wrote Endless Referrals, which is a core
Yeah.
to how I approach business development. But he wrote a book that I listen to. It's on audio constantly. Is Go Givers Sell More.
Yeah.
And you have to come from a place of giving. You can't come, if you walk into an office or a Zoom call and go, this might be a $10,000 sale. Before you ever have a conversation,
Right. Yeah.
already broken.
Yeah.
And people do that. And people are like, okay, I still have $50,000 I have to hit this month. I'm wondering if I can get that from this client. And I'm like, guys, you are never going to hit your, I mean, if you do,
Yeah.
it's just like random roulette luck.
Yeah.
You have to come in going, what challenges is this person going through? Truly understand both how it's affecting them professionally and personally, right? Especially if it's an entrepreneur that you're selling to. And identify if, in fact, your solution can really have an impact, and then test the waters with sharing. Like, if one of the things I see you're doing is this, what do you think about applying something like this? Can you see that? And it's free insights. And what makes it a free insight is they can use it even if they don't hire you.
Exactly.
And that's where I think salespeople, they stop. They don't give enough value because they're afraid, if I give you this value, you'll never hire me.
Right.
When in fact, it's that value that gets them to want to work with you.
Yeah. It's so great. I mean, I hear it all the time. Harry, you're giving away too much value. People will not hire you because you're giving everything away for free. And it's just, I'm going to follow Gary Vee, right? I mean, it's, or Bob Burg, similar, right? I read The Go Giver. I totally buy into that concept. I mean, even people back years ago, Mary Kay, there were these exceptions, not that they were the rule, but Og Mandino, there are others that provided value that it was different back in the day, right? They didn't have social media, but I mean, they came from a place of serving, right? There, and that's where the value is coming from that place of serving. What's your thought?
Yeah, I love that. If you can serve them, if you can bring them value. I'm going to share a quick story. And I actually launched this client today, but there was a chief revenue officer that I did some podcasts with, and we were in a summit together, and I'd have all these conversations with him, and he loved what I was doing, and it just never turned into anything. And he'd reach out and ask some questions, and I'm happy to answer. And I had a coworker say, "Why do you just keep answering?" I said, "Because he keeps asking." And so they're like, "Well, aren't you annoyed that he hasn't hired you yet?" I said, "No, I'm detached from that. When the time is right." Well, in March, he took another job at a bigger company, said to someone on his team, "Go schedule with Brynne." I literally took the old proposal, I changed out the logo and sent it. And it closed in 2 hours. Now,
Wow.
If I had stopped answering his questions or kind of got my back up and said, go Google it. Like, what, you're not buying from me. Why would I, and then he might have Googled it and found my competitor who answered the questions.
Yeah.
So I was detached from that sale. Sure, it was in my pipeline. And, my team would say, "So what's going on with that? It's been here for 6 months." I'm like, you know what? He keeps engaging. I'm not putting it in the parking lot. It's sitting here. I never got that client, but I got his new company.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and that's the way it works, right? I mean, I've been in sales forever. If you stop being good to people, if you stop being nice and you turn into, when you buy something, I'll help you with that. Right? When you turn into that, just just tell the person that you will never do business with them and that they frustrated you too much and you can't deal with it. So see you later, right? Because that's in essence what we're saying.
Yeah. And I just, and they were quick questions I kept answering.
Yeah.
And every once in a while I'd put in, hey, this is something that we go deep on in our training.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Let me kind of give you an overview. If you want more of this, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd give him an overview and I'd give him
Yeah.
insights and answers. I couldn't give him the hour training on that topic.
Yeah.
But it was enough that he felt like I answered the question, and I reminded him we go deep on this one.
Yeah.
And so it's not about being a pushover.
Mm-hmm.
It's about being of service. It's about showing up. And
Yeah.
I will tell you, in the meantime, in the year that I was prospecting him, I was on his podcast.
Yeah.
When we were in a summit together, and he gave me a shout out during his presentation on how great my stuff was. So it's not always about dollar amount. It's about reputation. It's about reach. It's about, and it's about, for me. So I had a client yesterday in the mail. He pays me, sent me a $50 gift card and this wonderful card that he and his wife signed,
Nice.
thanking me. He sent me a $50 gift card.
Right.
He paid me.
On top of what he pays you.
Yeah, like we can't thank you enough for how you've transformed our business. Well, awesome. That's my job. But I give a little extra time and I do a little extra here. And he's like, this is not nearly enough. He says to me, in the text back and forth, I wish we could do even more, or I want to do even more. So I said, your success is my thank you, and the monthly membership that he pays, right? And it's fine that I'm doing my job, but when you can go above and beyond and you get that, and really he launched a business that was fledgling, talked to me, worked with me, and in 2 months, it's really flourishing. All around him showing up authentically, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
So, yeah, that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I got off on that.
No, it's amazing. So just getting this back to social. So if someone is out there and they say, well, I just don't see the value in LinkedIn. I've never gotten any business from it. What would you say to that person?
You're not getting business from it for a few reasons. Number one, your profile is a resume or a pitch deck, not a resource. We want to convert it from a resume to a resource. You can have all the presence in the world. You can have all the referrals in the world, and they show up on LinkedIn. And if the first thing they read as this is more of a salesperson and entrepreneur, is President's Club 3 years in a row.
Oh my goodness.
150% a quota, best negotiator, right? Your prospects are going to run. They don't want to work with the best negotiator. They want to work with someone that can help them solve their problem. So that's number one. Number two, you made a decision, and this one, I can't believe how often I hear this. I don't want to connect with my clients on LinkedIn because my competitors will see them.
I've heard it.
I don't want my competitors to know I'm doing it. So if you can lose a client because a competitor knows that they're a LinkedIn connection, you need Harry.
Exactly.
If you're that vulnerable, the plus side of that client, you can search their connections and get referrals. You can get recommendations from them that help you close more business when other people see how great your clients love you. There's so many things you can do when you're connected to your client. So if you're so worried that your competitor can steal the business, we have bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, seriously. That is so great.
Yeah. The other thing is you may be sharing content that you want to share, not necessarily the content that your prospect wants to consume.
Right.
And that's
So if I have a company and I just keep posting stuff about what we do, doesn't mean that my
no one
potential
cares.
prospects care about that, right?
No one
Yeah.
cares.
Yeah.
No one cares.
No one. Can we be clear on that, Brynne?
Yeah. So what do they care about? Content that does these 5 things is what works for social selling. Resonates with your buyer. They immediately look at it and say, this topic is interesting to me. Number 2, creates enough curiosity that they're willing to invest the next 30 seconds to read. If you can't create curiosity, if you can't resonate and create curiosity in the first line, your content typically won't work. Not never. Nothing is never. Typically won't work. Number 3, we need to teach them something new that they didn't think about prior to reading this. They need an aha moment. It could even be, it doesn't even have to be a full-on aha moment. I have a client that calls it a pug tilt. If they go, you win. You ever see a pug? Yeah, she has pugs.
Yeah.
She goes, yeah, does my content create a pug tilt? And I'm like, yep, it does. 4, what they just learned needs to get them thinking differently about their current solution. So that not only do they go, ooh, that's interesting, but, ooh, that's interesting. I wonder how that would work in my environment. And number 5, it needs to create a compelling moment. If we can't create a compelling moment, we can't start a conversation. So what's a compelling moment? You might say, I had 350 views and 2 likes. Who are the other 348 people, right? So we need to create more compelling moments. A compelling moment could be a like or a reaction, a comment, a connection request, a profile view. Now, what that is we are converting our lurkers into engagers. And when we get them to become an engager, we can start a conversation. We know who they are. They came out from the dark, right? And they're engaging in one way or another. And then we can decide, is this someone I want a conversation with? And it's, it's kind of like you made eye contact across the networking.
Oh,
right?
So beautiful.
Yeah.
It's great stuff. Brynne, I know you have to run. This has been super jam-packed with value. Those top 5 reasons is just going to be gold for a lot of people. So is there anything we missed in this that you would say to close it out, that one last thing, or
I guess recapping it, stop selling and start serving.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love it. Brynne Tillman, ladies and gentlemen, where can people find you, Brynne?
Coincidentally, I'm on LinkedIn. So that's a real good place to start. We also have tons of free content at linkedinlibrary.com. And we have a podcast, Making Sales Social.
All right. You have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for stopping by and joining us here on the Sales Made Easy podcast. You are awesome.
Oh, thank you. I had a lot of fun, Harry. Thank you.
All right. You're the best. Man, sales is tough. I'm just not cut out to be a salesperson. Have you ever felt that way? Selling doesn't need to be so difficult. My name is Harry Spate. I'm here to serve and to help you succeed. Join me as we discuss sales made easy.